One day, the world had reached a turning point. Technology had rapidly changed people's lives, but something was missing. One of the greatest mysteries was understanding how time worked, traveling to the past and seeing the future. A group of scientists searching for answers to these questions had finally taken one step closer to unraveling the secrets of the universe. Dr. Alara Markham was a scientist working at the Time Research Institute. Her greatest dream was to make time travel possible. She wanted to see events of the future, change the past, and restore the lost pieces of history. However, despite years of hard work, everything still seemed like a routine experiment. That is, until the day she activated the time machine, specially designed for her final trials. One morning, Alara and her team had completed their preparations for time travel. The machine was a massive metallic structure, equipped with various digital screens, bright lights, and complex mechanisms. Alara was confident that everything was working perfectly. When she pressed the power button on the time machine, suddenly the entire laboratory lit up. The lights flickered, and in an instant, a time rift formed. "We did it!" Alara said, her voice filled with excitement. However, no matter how hard she tried, she could feel just how dangerous everything was. The control of time was so powerful that a single misstep could destroy everything. As the team began boarding the time machine, they knew they were about to embark on a journey at the very edges of the past and the future. Alara sent herself to a point in the past. In an instant, she found herself on the streets of New York City 500 years ago. But something was wrong. Everything seemed right, but there was a sense of something missing. People were living without any form of technology. A man approached Alara and asked, "What are you doing here?" Alara couldn't believe she was a part of the past. However, the chaos brought on by time travel showed that everything was functioning differently. A few minutes later, an alien entity from another time period noticed Alara and said, "You must go back. Everything here will change." It was a warning. Alara sent a signal to the rest of her team and decided to return. However, something went wrong. The time machine malfunctioned and pulled her back in an unintended way, causing Alara to be transported to another time period in just a few seconds. This time, she found herself on the surface of an abandoned planet far in the future. Tall structures, mind-controlling technologies, and the remnants of a lost civilization lay scattered around her. Something had gone terribly wrong here. A catastrophe had destroyed the entire planet. For a moment, Alara thought everything had come to an end. She felt as though she was lost in the endless cycle of time. But then, from far away, a light began to shine. The light slowly enveloped Alara's thoughts. She realized just how intertwined time, life, and the universe truly were. Now she had the power to go back and change the world. But whether to use that power or not would become her greatest test. Alara found herself once again within a time void, but this time she realized that time itself had taken on a form of consciousness. Time spoke to her, as though it were a being asking a question. "Everything has a cost, Alara. You will have a choice." Within a few seconds, Alara found herself with the power to reshape the world. However, she had to make a choice. If she were to alter the past, it could also affect the future. But if something went wrong, nothing could be undone. Maintaining the balance of time was an immense responsibility. After a few deep moments of reflection in the time void, Alara finally made her decision. Instead of changing the future, she chose to accept the world as it was. She had realized how heavy the price would be for interfering with the natural flow of time. Although Alara had solved the secret of time, she knew she couldn't go back and undo all her mistakes. However, this realization allowed her to understand the value of the world from a different perspective. Time was beyond everything, and humanity had only one chance to learn from past mistakes and build the future. When Alara returned, she destroyed the time machine at the Time Research Institute. The team, leaving behind the dream of time travel, decided to embark on a different journey for the future of humanity. Because, although time was a mystery to be unraveled, the only thing that mattered in every individual's journey was to understand the value of life.